Okay, we're here live at Star Wars Celebration 3 in Indianapolis with Dave Prowse, who played Darth Vader in the original Star Wars trilogy. How are you this morning, Dave?
I'm very well. Good morning.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I want to talk about your book, Dave Prowse, Straight from the Force's Mouth. It's 2 volumes. 1 volume is text and 1 volume is pictures. What can we read about in the first volume?
Well, the first volume is an autobiography. I mean, that's the difference between the two books. One is an autobiography. The other one is a totally photographic record of everything that I've done for the last 50 years. And I've had an exciting career. I've travelled all over the world, and I've met many interesting people, and had my photographs taken with people. And I'm very interested in photography myself, so I've taken lots of pictures of famous people. And the photographic book is divided into 8 different sections. There's one section where I've got exclusive photographs from the Empire Strikes Back premiere. I've got exclusive photographs of the photographs from Phantom Menace. I got exclusive photographs which people have never seen from the Attack of the Clones, the Rebel Assault 2 video game that I did. And there's all sorts of exclusive stuff in there which people have never seen before. And there's obviously a section on my bodybuilding and weightlifting career, another section on my family, another section on all my friends in showbiz. And the other book, of course, is the autobiography, which is like 33 chapters, 416 pages, of all the interesting things which I've done over the course of the years. It never started out as an autobiography. It just started out with me wanting to do like disjointed chapters about interesting things, and then I thought, well, I might as well make it an autobiographical. And as I said, we've now ended up with a book with a lovely Star Wars section in it, which is all written on a diary basis. So it's I've got I was given a diary in 1979, and I've kept a day-to-day diary ever since. And the diary includes a day-to-day happening of everything on Empire Strikes Back, on Return of the Jedi as well, and all the publicity tours I got involved in. So for Star Wars fans and autograph collectors, I mean, the book is a dream for people, really.
And that's great because keeping the journal, you're not dealing with foggy memories or lost facts. It's right there. That's movie-making history kept in a day-to-day journal. If I could just read the back of the book. Any book by David Prowse should be a fantastic read. His Darth Vader has made a substantial contribution to the Star Wars franchise, and his impressive career as a strongman and bodybuilder comes with some equally impressive stories. Lou Ferrigno. I consider him a very good friend. He signs it off. Lou Ferrigno. Tell me a little bit about your bodybuilding. What sort of competitions were you involved in? Being a Star Wars fan, I know your Star Wars contributions like the back of my hand, but your weightlifting, tell me some of the luminaries you competed with. Did you compete against a Schwarzenegger, Ferrigno?
Well, he was. See, I did the Mr. Universe contest in 1960, which is just prior to Arnold arriving on the scene. And then I changed over from competitive bodybuilding to competitive weightlifting, and I became the British heavyweight weightlifting champion. So I had 62, 63, 64 as the British heavyweight champion. And I did the Empire and Commonwealth Games in Perth, Australia, and I did the World Weightlifting Championships in Budapest. And then, as I said, I had this really interesting career where I started doing what we call the physical culture shows. And Arnold and I used to go around together. He used to do all the bodybuilding demonstrations, and I used to do all the heavy weightlifting demonstrations. And so we've been friends for years and years and years. And just recently, funny enough, I after he became governor of California, I got in touch with him and said, look, I'm coming out with this book. Would you do me a favor? I said, I'm also applying for a work permit for America. I want to come over here and work. And they got back to me, and he said, or his agent got back and said, look, sorry, we don't do any book endorsements. We've had umpteen requests to do book endorsements, and Arnold's turned them all down. But then he came through. Arnold came through and said, look, I'll be only too pleased to recommend you your work permit. So I got this lovely letter from Arnold, which I took to the U.S. Embassy, and it's like from the office of the governor of California, and it's a beautiful recommendation from Arnold that I get my work permit, and I got it. I got my work permit. Yeah. I said you couldn't have a better endorsement for you. Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Star Wars. Oh, real quick, how do we get the book?
Well, at the present moment, it's available only on my website. You can order. People can order it from me here at the convention, but at the moment, it's only available on the website. It's not on sale over here in America, not as yet. But I do have a publishing deal where people will be able to buy it eventually, in the stores. But at the moment, I'm not going to the trade with it. I'm just purely and simply selling it through my website. And if you want to log on to the website, it's www.darthvader-starwars.com. It's as simple as that. I mean, anybody ought to be remember. Any Star Wars fan ought to be able to remember that one. www.darthvader-starwars.com.
www.darthvader-starwars. That isn't easy to say. Let's talk a little bit about Darth Vader. Was Star Wars your first acting experience?
No, I was in the business for. Oh gosh, I've been in the business for over 10 years before Star Wars came along. I came into the business in 1960, roughly about 1964, 65, and Star Wars came along in 1976. So I mean, it was 11 years before, and I'd had a whole career. In basically films and television. I'd done practically every television series that came out of Great Britain at the time, things like The Saint and Department S, The Avengers, and all these major series. And then I was in I did the 3 Hammer horror movies. I was in Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange. I did, all sorts of different movies. And then, of course, everything culminated when George came to England, and he was... he'd set himself up in the 20th Century Fox offices in London and asked the managing director of 20th Century Fox if they could find me. And of course, he obviously knew where I was, and an appointment was made to go and see George, and basically the rest is history. Yeah.
Now, when you went to see George, oddly enough, you were also offered another role. Which role was that?
I was offered Chewbacca first. But he said I'd like you to consider one of 2 roles in the movie. And I said, well, what are the 2 movies? And he said, well, the first one's a character called Chewbacca. And I said, what's that? And he said, it was like a hairy gorilla that goes through the film on the side of the goodies. And I thought, no, I didn't fancy sort of 3 or 4 months in the gorilla skin, and not being able to do very much. And I said, no, you can keep that one, George. And I said, what's the other one? And he said, well, the other one's the big villain of the film, a character called Darth Vader. And I said, well, thank you very much. I'll add the villain's part. And that was basically it. And I think it was the wisest decision I've ever made in my career.
Chewbacca, of course. Nobody will forget Chewbacca.
Well, I mean, as I said, and then Peter obviously, Peter Mayhew came along and took over the role of Chewbacca and did a fantastic job.
But Darth Vader, I mean, when you think Star Wars, you think Darth Vader. And now with these prequels coming out, it appears that the whole story arc is more about Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, than it is about Luke Skywalker, which, as kids watching the movie, we all thought it was all about Luke, but as it turns out, it's all about Darth.
No, I mean the first movie was all about Darth Vader. I mean the first 3 movies were all about Darth Vader. I mean just Luke and Han Solo and everybody else just happened to be there. But it was and then of course the first trilogy, which obviously now we're doing 1, 2, 3, is all about the development of Anakin Skywalker to becoming Darth Vader, and now we see Darth Vader at the end of the next episode, which comes out on May 19th.
Which I know the fan support for you and Star Wars is gigantic. And there was a bit of outcry of people wanting to see you don that Darth Vader suit at the end of Episode 3. And I know that you were doing some lobbying for that. How do you feel about Hayden taking the role that you made famous? And it is your role. You are going to always be the Darth Vader. You had all the screen time in the original trilogy, and the original trilogy is what makes Star Wars what it is. But how do you feel about seeing Hayden in the black suit?
Well, I wish him the best of luck. But I mean, it should be me. I mean, what more can you say? I mean, it's I feel very disappointed that it wasn't me. I mean, I was available. They brought Chewbacca back into the movie. They had R2-D2 back into the movie. They had C-3PO back into the movie. There was no reason whatsoever why I shouldn't reprise the Darth Vader role. And in fact, I was in Australia at the time when they were filming, so they didn't have to pay any expenses to get me out to Australia or anything like this. But no, they ignored everything that I. All this, well, not treated. I mean, I just let it be known. People were doing interviews with me, and they said, "Would you like to reprise the Darth Vader role?" And I said, "Yes, I'd love to." So everybody knew I wanted to reprise the role, but they chose not to do it. So that's their prerogative. Yeah.
I think that must have been a large caveat for Hayden to be able to have it all pay off with putting on the costume. I know some actors don't want it; they want their face to be on screen all the time, but putting on the Darth Vader mask. Who wouldn't want to do that? From what I understand, the Darth Vader we know, the black suit, black helmet, cape, is going to amount to pretty much just a cameo in the film at the end. Is that the truth as far as you know?
Well, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I've not seen anything in the movie. To be honest, I'm not all that interested in it, because I'm not involved. I'm, obviously I'm interested in as far as the, what the film's going to be like, because I thought the first film, like Phantom Menace, I didn't like at all. Attack of the Clones I thought was slightly better, but not much. And no comparison with the first three movies, 4, 5, and 6. And as I said, I think I've seen obviously teaser trailers. And the film looks very, very good. And so to a certain extent, I'm looking forward to it. But on the other hand, I don't have the because I'm not Darth Vader in the movie, I don't have the interest really that I should have.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, your connection with Star Wars, though, still remains with things like this, fan conventions and everything. Let's talk about the fans. What's the strangest thing you ever autographed for a fan?
Well, I've autographed ladies' breasts. I've autographed guys' legs, arms, bicycles. I've done all sorts of different things. It's amazing some of the things that the fans come up with.
Have you ever dealt with any rather aggressive fans who might invade your space, or do you find that mostly Star Wars fans let you go about your business?
No, I usually find that the fans are very, very good. You occasionally get the drunks, that sort of turn up at your signings and want you to autograph their sweaty shirts and things like this, And fortunately, you've normally got security people around you. They can get rid of the obnoxious ones, but in the main, you don't have much trouble. Yeah.
But typically, in a public situation, are you ever recognized?
Well, in amongst the Star Wars situations, yes, you are. I'm recognized all the time. You just can't walk across the road without everybody recognizing you here.
Right.
But I'm very, very, very fortunate in as much that here I am now recognized as the ultimate screen villain of all time. And I can have all the publicity I want when I want it, i.e. like sci-fi conventions and publicity tours that I do and so on, and personal appearances and autograph signing sessions. But I can walk out of this convention and walk around Indianapolis and nobody knows who I am. So I can have my privacy when I want it, and I can have my publicity.
Thank you very much for your time.
Nice to talk to you. It's been very pleasant.
I consider you something of a movie legend, so long live Darth.
Thank you.